trucks already heading out onto track for their final race of 5 this weekend. The grid for this one is based on the results of race 3 held earlier this morning, but with the top 8 in each division reversed. It should have been Michael Oliver. He finished 8th in the race this morning, who was on pole, but damage to the truck has forced him to withdraw. So it's Simon Reed who moves up into pole position. We won't see Michael Oliver out for this one. Ricky Collett starts alongside Simon Reed. Stephen Powell and Craig Reed will be on row 2, and then the Smiths on row 3. The unrelated Bradley Smith and Ryan Smith. I would say Ryan from the 3rd row will start as the narrow favourite here. David Jenkins on row 4, going for a hat-trick of wins alongside Tom O'Rourke. And Mark Taylor and Simon Faulkner on row 5, and completing the Division 1 grid, John Newell and Stuart Oliver, looking for his 2nd win of the weekend. He took the win in the red flag curtailed race 4. Then there's a gap, and we've got Division 2. John Bowler and Craig Evans head up the Division 2 grid along ahead of John Powell and Jock Borthwick. John Powell looking for his 3rd win of the weekend. Brad Smith, the earlier winner today, starts alongside the winner this morning, Luke Garrett. And Adam Bint will go from the back of the grid, having failed to finish race 3 of the weekend. Start to form up then, with Simon Reed on pole in the 89 Iveco, alongside Ricky Collett in his MAN number 95. Stephen Powell's battered and bruised machine has been repaired after its trip into the gravel earlier on, tangled with Mark Taylor. There's a chunk bit now to the front of Ryan Smith's truck as well. Mark Taylor's team have done a good job repairing the number 81. He lines up on the 5th row alongside Simon Faulkner. First full season of truck racing for him, still learning the ropes at the wheel of his Iveco. Stuart Oliver at the back. 3 different winners so far this weekend, then can they make it 4? Can Simon Reed hang on in front? I think he's had 1 win in his career so far at the wheel of that Iveco. Well, Stephen Powell, if he needs any backup spares for his MAN, at least he hasn't got far to go. He said he lives pretty much within walking distance of Brands Hatch. So the dozen Division 1 trucks in position. As we say, we are missing Michael Oliver. In Division 2, 2 wins for John Bowler, 1 for Luke Garrett and 1 for Brad Smith so far this weekend, as they move away on the rolling starts. Ryan Smith, 2 wins, a 2nd and a 3rd. 2 wins for David Jenkins. 1 win, 2 seconds and a 3rd, sorry, for Ryan Smith. David Jenkins with a couple of wins. The other win for Stuart Oliver. TRP truck parts, official Pace truck leading them round. Of course, truck racing began in the mid-1980s in Britain. The first event was at Donington, where it was literally trucks that were straight off the road that went out there and raced. There were a number of celebrity guests that raced on that occasion. The likes of Barry Sheen was involved, Martin Brundle, the Grimers from the hot rod racing world, Barry Lee, of course, as well. And that first event had, I think, one of the biggest spectator audiences in the whole history of Donington Park. And the rest, as they say, is history. Allegedly, it was the film Smokey and the Bandit that inspired truck racing, because American truck racing was featured in it. Final race of the weekend then here at Brands Hatch, the season opener for the British Truck Racing Championship. Simon Reed and Ricky Collett on the front row. Could anyone stop Ryan Smith, looking for win number 2 this weekend? David Jenkins going for win number 3. Stuart Oliver looking for his second win from the back of the Division 1 grid this time. And Division 2, John Powell on a hat-trick. Wins also for Brad Smith and Luke Garrett earlier in the weekend, with a very open and competitive field, the most competitive I think we've seen in a long time. Let's hope that continues for the rest of the season. Let's see what's going to happen in our final 15-minute race of the weekend. We're underway. They charge down towards Paddock Bend for the first time. Good start by Ryan Smith, trying to get up the inside. One of the foam barriers goes flying there. I think it was Mark Taylor that collected that. They've all just about got round Paddock Bend okay. John Bowler leads the Division 2 charge of the Light Brigade into Paddock Hill. Then John Powell coming through into second, but who's going to be leading Division 1? They've all just about... Oh, David Jenkins has had some contact in the 69. That's delayed him. I think he may have hit Tom O'Rourke. John Newell now battling with him. We'll see who comes out of all that with the lead in a second. It's David Jenkins. Yes, he's hit Tom O'Rourke. We can see damage to his truck. It's Simon Reed who's held his lead from pole position. Second place is Stephen Powell. Ryan Smith in the third. Ricky Collett from the front row has gone down to fourth. And then Craig Reed rounds out the top 5. David Jenkins, there was definitely contact there. You can see damage on the side and front of his truck. Damage on the right-hand side of Tom O'Rourke as Ryan Smith, wasting no time, up the inside past Stephen Powell into second position. But it is Simon Reed who leads the way. There's bits of foam from the barrier all over the pit lane exit there. There's a bit of debris in the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend as well. Simon Reed, man from Stoke-on-Trent, has the lead in the Iveco. Ryan Smith in second place, just limbering up here. Stuart Oliver chasing David Jenkins. He's got ahead of Mark Taylor. In Division 2, further back, we'll pick those up in a moment. Division 2 leader, I can tell you, is John Bowler, number 14, has held on in front around the opening lap, ahead of John Powell. Craig Reed attacking Ricky Collett. Behind them, Bradley Smith. What a weekend he's had. He's been one of the stars of the weekend for me in the number 46 Ferns Group truck. Tom O'Rourke, despite having a bit of contact, and talking of contact, Craig Reed pushes his way past Ricky Collett there at Clearways for fourth place. Side by side, Collett trying to hang on, and he does get the power down better out of Clearways. He's going to stay in front, he's going to move across just there, and Craig Reed sensibly gives the yellow machine room to move across in front of him. Side panel damage on Tom O'Rourke's number 86 there, dragging alongside the truck. David Jenkins behind him, and John Newell. Oh, and Mark Taylor's in trouble. He's locked up going into Druids, just about gets the truck stopped. Thought he was going to hit the back of Stuart Oliver there. Oliver now side by side with John Newell in the 18. Still in front it is Simon Reed, but Ryan Smith's got the fastest lap of the race, 59.407 seconds last time through, and he's going after the Iveco. Stephen Powell in third place in his rather lightweight MAN with a bit of the front bodywork missing. And it's Collett from Craig Reed, Bradley Smith, O'Rourke and Jenkins. All playing nicely into the hands of flying Ryan Smith at the moment. Now he's ready to attack Simon Reed for the lead of the race. Let's look on the outside. He's going to try and cut. I'm sure he'll cut back here to the inside through the exit of Paddock Bend. Yes, here he goes. Doesn't quite work though, and the 89 stays ahead of Simon Reed. Ryan Smith tries again, weaving about there on the tail of the 89. Down Graham Hill they come into the left-hander. Good driving by Simon Reed, resisting the pressure from Flying Ryan, the 6-time consecutive champion. Can he make it 7 with his radical-looking new truck this year? Stephen Powell looking on in third, looking for his best result in Division 1 so far. And they're clear of Ricky Collett. These three going clear of Ricky Collett, who's again the cork in the bottle in fourth place, and everybody else trying to get past him. Reed's actually increased his lead just a little there around that lap, ahead of Ryan Smith. Division 2 is still being led by John Bowler in that hand-painted Union flag livery DAF. Got his lead over John Powell. It's less than a second, so we'll pick up Division 2 further back. The Division 1 midfield battle files its way up towards Druids. David Jenkins mired in the traffic. He'll be getting frustrated in there. Simon Faulkner at the back of Division 1 in the Brooklands plant, number 92. And here's Division 2. John Bowler under pressure from John Powell. Luke Garrett up on the outside. Then it's Jock Borthwick and Brad Smith. Still leading the way, it is the number 14. That really does look superb, doesn't it? The new paint job on John Bowler's machine. He'd love to take a win with it here. He hasn't had a win for a long, long time in Division 2. Stuart Oliver runs wide there, attacking the number 18 of John Newell. A mixed weekend for John. He had a collision with Stuart Oliver earlier in the weekend. David Jenkins moves out wide, now back to the inside, trying to outfox Tom O'Rourke there. They've already come together once on the opening lap. There's Ricky Collett still holding that fourth place. Very obstinate driver is Ricky. Widest MAN in the country right now. Simon Reed still holding off Ryan Smith for the lead of the race. Stephen Powell rather on his own in third place. He'll be happy with his first podium in Division 1 since moving up from the Division 2 category. Here is Division 2. The two DAFs, the Dutch-built machines out in front. Powell chasing Bowler. Luke Garrett's MAN in third. Jock Borthwick's MAN is fourth. And then another DAF, that of Brad Smith, the cream-coloured truck in fifth. Then Craig Evans and Adam Bintz. It's been a weekend to forget, really, for Adam Bint, but he'll still be happy to get some points on the board if he completes the distance here. Can John Powell make it 3 wins? He's almost certain to take the points lead in Division 2. He and Luke Garrett will be battling it out for the lead, I would think. Brad Smith will be in there as well in the reckoning. We'll see on the BARC website in the next few days the points chart appear. This is the fight for 4th and 5th in Division 1. David Jenkins not able to make progress. He's stuck behind Tom O'Rourke there. John Newell behind him. Has a look up the inside into Graham Hill. Ben, there's just enough room there on the inside. Excuse me, says to Tom O'Rourke. O'Rourke out on the grass, and through goes David Jenkins up into 7th place. John Newell tries as well. Oh, 3 into 1 won't go there. Walloped. Off goes Tom O'Rourke. That was a 3-wide moment with John Newell and Stuart Oliver there. That bit of bodywork's come off completely now. O'Rourke got squeezed off on the outside. You can't get 3 trucks wide through Surtees Bend. Going to rejoin right at the back behind the Division 2 trucks. Let's have a look again. This is in Division 2, and the leader running wide. A mistake from John Bowler. Oh dear. Runs wide onto the gravel, and John Powell says thank you very much and takes the lead in Division 2. Disaster for John Bowler. Halfway through this final race of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Association Championship. One more race to come after this for the BMWs. Here's a replay of the incident at Surtees. There you can see 3 into 1 didn't go, and it was Tom O'Rourke who was caught on the outside and sent spinning into the infield. Managed to get the truck stopped, loses the side panel off the truck, and he got the MV Commercial MAN back into the race. Here come your leaders, and still Ryan Smith unable to get past Simon Reed. This is a great drive by the man from Stoke. Down the hill, into the left-hander. They're still nearly 5 seconds clear now of Stephen Powell. There's Steve in 3rd place. He's having a bit of a lonely race, looking for that first podium. David Jenkins now on the tail of Bradley Smith for 6th position. Got past Tom O'Rourke when he tangled with John Newell. Up the hill go the Division 2 boys, and John Bowler is fighting back. He's still 3rd in Division 2. He didn't lose too much ground with that mistake at Paddock Hill Bend. It's John Powell with the lead now ahead of Jock Borthwick. They're not too far behind Simon Faulkner's Division 1 truck. This is all 7 trucks in Division 2 running together, less powerful trucks further back. Slightly lower numbers in Division 2 this year, but only really because several top Division 2 names have moved up into Division 1. Craig Reed, Stephen Powell and Bradley Smith among them, and Michael Oliver as well was Division 2 last season. John Newell having a look on the inside, attacking Bradley Smith. David Jenkins has already gone through and taken 6th position. Stuart Oliver about to renew his acquaintance with John Newell. They've already collided once this weekend. Reed over the curves there as he tries to hold 5th place. David Jenkins delayed in traffic, so I don't think he's going to catch Ryan Smith, but can Ryan Smith get ahead of Simon Reed? Well, Simon Reed's just done the fastest lap, 59.023. This is impressive. There he is, chased by Ryan Smith. There's not many weekends in recent years where we've had 4 different winners. 4.5 minutes he's got to survive the pressure from Ryan Smith. They're over 6 seconds clear of Stephen Powell now, so it's between these two. There's Craig Reed, he's under fire from David Jenkins. Great entertainment from the British Truck Racing Championship this weekend, and certainly one of the most, as we said at the start of this race, one of the most open and competitive weekends that I can remember in recent years. In the last few years, previously it was Stuart Oliver and then Ryan Smith would usually run away with it in Division 1, but have they met their match this year? Last year Ryan Smith struggled a bit with the reliability of his new Mercedes, which allowed his opposition to catch up, and the championship went down to the very last race of the year between himself and David Jenkins. That was ended though when Mark Taylor slid across the infield and took out Jenkins as he flew back onto the track. Talking of Jenkins, he's having a go at Craig Reed here into Paddock Bend over that bit of foam from the Recticel barriers. There's Ricky Collett still ahead of them in 4th place, but sideways through Paddock Bend. Lock up there from Craig Reed. This could be Jenkins' opportunity. Adam Bintz, well, that just about sums up his weekend, doesn't it? Sliding through the gravel. Let's have a look again there. Oh, it was John Bowler getting caught up there with, that's the second time John Bowler's had contact at Clearways. He had contact with Ryan Smith as he tried to lap him yesterday. Poor old Adam Bintz had a terrible weekend, sadly, in the Volvo White Aerodyne. Let's hope for better fortunes for him in round 2 at Pembrey next month. We'll be there, of course, in about 3 or 4 weekends from now. Pembrey, May the 8th and 9th is our next action from the trucks. John Newell chasing down Bradley Smith. Behind them, Stuart Oliver. Been a quieter race for Stuart. He's had a mixed weekend, certainly. Shows how evenly matched these trucks are. 2.5 minutes of the race to go, and still Simon Reed heads Ryan Smith. Smith now has closed right up on him. Now he's starting to attack. Towards the end of this race, Reed goes a little bit wide there through Clearways. This is Ryan Smith's opportunity. No, Reed moves back across to take the line. 2 minutes to go. At least a couple more laps to come. What can Ryan Smith do? Can he take his 2nd win of the weekend for his new truck? Up the hill they come. They've got Division 2s ahead of them, and Tom O'Rourke as well after his off earlier on. Ryan Smith, we had him flashbacks in his mind of race 2 yesterday when he led to the last corner, but caught up with John Bowler as he tried to lap him and went off over the gravel, losing the win on the very last bend. Can he get ahead of Simon Reed? There's a great drive by the Iveco pilot. Stephen Powell all on his own in 3rd place. He's heading for his maiden podium in Division 1. They're coming up on John Bowler. Just over a minute to go, so I think they'll get 2 more laps out of this. Bowler moves to the inside, taking no chances this time. Over the line they go. 1 minute 4 on the clock as they cross the line. They might get 2 more laps out of this, you know. We'll see as they come round next time whether it's checkered flag or last lap. They've been cutting it fine in every single race this weekend. Everybody has. Now, how are they going to deal with this traffic? Next to be lapped is Adam Bintz. Be a bit smoky there, the Volvo. A couple of drivers warned for smoke earlier on. Ricky Collett was one of them. And now Ryan Smith right on the bumper of Simon Reed. Adam Bint moves onto the grass to get out of the way. Taking no chances there. 25 seconds on the clock. Will it be checkered flag this time, or will they get one more lap? It's going to be tight at the line. Ryan Smith ready to attack. He'll be hoping for one more lap here. Simon Reed will want to see the checkered flag. They come up towards the line. I think they're going to be a few seconds too early. We've seen this so often this weekend. Yes, 5 seconds too early. There's one more lap to go. What can Ryan Smith do? Now he's really going to throw everything he's got at Simon Reed on this last lap. Tom O'Rourke and Craig Evans ahead of them to be lapped. Oh, nervous times here as they head up towards Druids for the final time. Meantime, in Division 2, John Powell still leads ahead of Jock Borthwick and Luke Garrett. We're on the last lap now, down towards Graham Hill Bend. This is going to be close. Are we going to see a last bend lunge from Ryan Smith? He may not get the chance. There's two back markers ahead of them. This is going to be dicey. They're going to have to be so careful here. We don't want a repeat of race 2 yesterday. To the inside goes Simon Reed. I think he's just about done enough. It's going to be close with Tom O'Rourke up alongside them. He'll move aside out of the way. There's no way through for Ryan Smith. Here they come to the line. It's going to be a win for 89. Simon Reed has done it. What an excellent drive. Second for Ryan Smith. 4 different winners this weekend in Division 1. Well done, Simon Reed. An excellent defensive drive from pole position. That shows why we have the reverse grids. Stephen Powell finishes third. That's his first podium in Division 1 to cap a difficult debut weekend. David Jenkins has got through for 4th place ahead of Craig Reed. I think we may have lost Ricky Collett on that final lap somewhere. We were watching the lead battle. I think we've lost Ricky Collett, unfortunately. So 4th goes to David Jenkins. No, Collett is there. He's crossed the line in 5th. My apologies. Didn't come up on the timing screen at first. His transponder must have stopped working. So Collett 5th. Craig Reed in 6th. There he is. 7th for John Newell. Bradley Smith in 8th. 9th is Stuart Oliver. And 10th goes to Mark Taylor. Division 2, meanwhile, just crossing the line now. John Powell takes his 3rd win. I think that'll put him into the Division 2 points lead ahead of Jock Borthwick, Luke Garrett, Brad Smith and Craig Evans. Tom O'Rourke finishes 16th the lap down. Adam Bint is 17th, then Simon Faulkner and John Bowler complete the finishes. There is John Powell in the DAF. Could he be the favourite for the Division 2 title this year, I wonder? Find it going tough with the likes of Luke Garrett and Jock Borthwick out there. 3 wins for John Powell this weekend. 4 different winners in Division 1. Only one for Ryan Smith. 2 for David Jenkins. 1 for Stuart Oliver. And now 1 for Simon Reed. Just 0.3 of a second clear of Ryan Smith. I think if those back markers hadn't been there, Ryan would have been able to attack on the last corner. Stephen Powell gets his best results of the weekend in 3rd ahead of David Jenkins and Ricky Collett. Craig Reed 6th ahead of John Newell, Bradley Smith, Stuart Oliver and Mark Taylor. Then the Division 2s with John Powell ahead of Jock Borthwick by just a few tenths of a second up the line. Nice winning margin there was 0.385. Luke Garrett next ahead of Brad Smith, Craig Evans, Tom O'Rourke, Adam Bint, Simon Faulkner and John Bowler. All 19 trucks go the distance. Bad luck to Michael Oliver, who had to withdraw from that one with some damage. But well done to all our truck racers here this week, and they put on an excellent show. And all the signs are there that this could be the most open and competitive season of British truck racing for many years. Has Ryan Smith finally met his match? Right, we can now hand down to Parc Ferme for the final time, I think, this weekend. Here's Pointy.
Wow. Wow. What a finish to the weekend here at Brands Hatch. You, of course, joined me, Pointy, down here in Parc Ferme, where we are waiting for the trucks to make their way, hopefully all in one piece, back down here. Now, this is the calm before the storm, before the row all starts, before the drivers get out and have really friendly, aggressive conversations with each other. But that's what racing's all about. And if you were just watching that race, you probably enjoyed it as much as all the thousands of spectators that have come out to the circuit this weekend to see all the racing action live. But of course, thank you all out there for joining us. And of course, I'm sure you've enjoyed it thoroughly as well. So whilst the trucks are coming down, somebody on the live feed earlier on actually asked the question, do you have to have a different licence to race in a racing truck? Well, here's a little bit of a tidbit for you. Did you know you don't even have to be old enough to drive a lorry to race a race truck? No, you just have to have a racing licence and obviously own a racing truck. That's usually the hardest thing to do, if I'm honest, especially one that works, as you've probably seen in the later years of Division 2. But anyway, that is the truth. That is last time we checked, updated as of whenever I just made up the information. But no, for real, Bradley Smith in fact was racing in Division 2 in a racing truck before he was even legally old enough to drive a road going lorry. So there you go. Now I can hear a rumble on the horizon, and I do believe we should obviously try and speak to Steve Powell, because his first year again in Division 1, he's been working for this a long time. He told us earlier on this weekend when we interviewed him, and I can't wait to see his elation at getting a third place, the last minute attempt here at Brands Hatch, his home circuit in fact. Of course, Steve Powell just living a few hundred yards down the road in West Kingsdown, where he's got the Portobello pub. Are we allowed to say that? Well, it's too late, I've said it. It's fine. They seem to be taking a little while to come down, so let's have a wander over to hopefully where we'll be handing out some trophies shortly. Taking the opportunity, of course, to thank all the teams. We know with the rising petrol and fuel prices, it's not easy to come down and see us, let alone to fill these massive big rigs. I'm sure Dave's probably filled you in with the specs, but 12,000cc engines, that's 12 litres, 4 to 5 to 6 cylinders, depending on which model you've got. Massive turbos, huge amounts of boost. In fact, from a 30-mile-an-hour rolling start, which is, of course, what the racing trucks start at, they will outrun a Porsche 911 to 100 miles an hour. That is right, from 30 to 100, 4.5 tonnes of steel and metal and plastic and goodness knows, and big-headed drivers, they will outrun a Porsche 911. That's true. That's fact. It's maths. Hopefully they're not going to hold them down. Actually, if you can zoom in onto the horizon, you see quite a beautiful cinematic shot of the Division 1 trucks making their way down the hill into the paddock. Now, that hill is quite steep. I know this because my electric scooter struggles tremendously whilst trying to move my fatness up it at any kind of speed. So yes, they'll be coming down ever so shortly with the TRP official BTRC pace truck that we've had on loan from TRP Truck Parts, which is very nice of them to come. Have we got any race trucks yet? And here he is. Absolutely fantastic effort, returning to the championship. Simon Reed Simon Reed's mechanic, of course, taking his first place of the weekend in Division 1. Ryan Smith playing a very clever game. Overall, most points earned this weekend, which still puts him in first place for the championship overall, and that is something that's quite interesting to see from Ryan Smith this year, is that so far he's happy to play the points game, because winning the championship doesn't mean winning every single race, it just means winning the championship, and that's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. The entire year you won't win a championship from the first weekend, and it's important to remember that, and a completely different pace and ideals from Ryan Smith, which will be interesting to see evolve. Steve Powell, there he is. Let's hope he's in his truck. If we can just stop Simon Faulkner for a minute whilst we cross over. Okay, you can follow us in now. Thank you very much. Amazing the power that Pointy has down here in the paddock. You just see the microphone, you do what you're told, right? Now, I know we spoke to Steve Powell earlier on, but he'll be very happy to take another trophy. Come on. It's when I drop this microphone cable under Keys' feet and you just suddenly see the tarmac get very close very quickly. Where is he? Here we are. Steve Powell. Well done, sir. Well done. A trophy. Beautiful. Good to see.
Yes, I'm over the moon. We've had a hard weekend.
Yeah, but worth the effort.
Absolutely, the team have worked so hard, and just to bring that home today for the team is just phenomenal. We've in 14 years of racing at Brands, I've never been in that gravel. I've been in there twice this weekend.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really good for the team and the morale, and brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Well done to you. Massive congratulations. You deserve it. Take it home, put it on the bar at the Portobello, and everybody can.
I just wished I'd all the bigger ones now.
Yeah, I wish you'd all the bigger
That
ones.
wasn't my fault, actually.
I mean, they look bigger in the picture, but isn't that just the story of life? Yeah. For goodness sake, Steve. Lowering the tone of always. John Powell over there, of course, taking another trophy home this weekend. Absolutely brilliant performance from John Powell this season so far. Very, very good news. Can we get him for a minute whilst this... John, come into here. Jonathan, what's your high on life? Yeah. A first place hat for a first place driver. What a blooming weekend you've had.
Absolutely. I've just got to thank my team actually, and especially Rafi. This man here knocked it out of the park every night for the last 2 months without foul. You know, Brian, Dale, Richard and all of it. Without them it's never going to happen, and it's nice to give something back, to be fair.
And it's nice to hear a driver speak about the team, because, you know, the drivers are very important to a truck racing team, but there would be no truck without the team as a whole, would there?
Absolutely. I mean, you come, when it goes wrong together, and you suffer together, and then you have the glory together. So the ups and downs of racing, but without them you can't do it. So.
Indeed, and it goes to show a true driver when you also see them first thing in the morning with oil up to the elbows. You know they've got seriously involved with it.
I was sleeping in the trailer from the clothes I had on Thursday night. So, yeah.
So if anybody local's got a spare race suit, this one's starting to get a bit of a whiff to it.
You're not wrong.